and they go back. They're rescued, and they go back. 4 to 16 times is what it takes. So you all might have heard Sacramento County Sheriff did a big sting out on Stockton a few months back, earlier in the spring actually. And they said they rescued 4 individuals. All of them are back out on the street. That's how this works. The highest rates of suicide, drug overdoses, physical abuse, and diseases are that of sex trafficking victims. The highest. Suicide. So that means that there are children walking around this community that don't even want to live because of what they're being exploited to. So you say, why prevention? That's your why. Prevention is far less expensive than the cure. Far less expensive. It is estimated that within 7 years, if we cannot recover a victim, then they will die in this lifestyle. That's what's at stake. That they will not make it. So you say, why prevention? Schools don't teach about this. Youth organizations don't teach about this. Churches don't teach about this. All the spaces where youth are, they don't talk about this. But it affects them. So anytime we talk about preventative measures, we have to think back to what that means. So in the schools, back in the 80s when crack hit, and the schools picked up that drugs were an issue, they implemented DARE, remember? Say No to Drugs, they had the DARE program. Yep. Remember that? Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that was taking it back a little bit. But they implemented that because drugs were an issue. So the slogan was, say no to drugs. Yep. And then when mental health became an issue, the school districts implemented mental health services because that was an issue. And then when gun violence spiked, what did the schools do? They implemented active shooter drills. Now most of the schools have the gated fences that stay locked. The classrooms are locked. You can't just walk onto the campuses anymore because of gun violence. So they implemented gun violence prevention implements into the school because of gun violence. That's a preventative measure. But sex trafficking is the #1 criminal industry of our nation, and it's not implemented in the school districts. This is an uncomfortable topic. It's one that people don't want to talk about. We want to pretend like it doesn't exist. But it's affecting our children and our families. And the fear of that is that what happens in 10 and 20 years? Well, now you have all these adults that now have children that have been exploited, and now they have to raise children. What happens to the generational cycle if we don't stop it?
Keeps going.
Keeps going. What do we do for these children that need to be saved? These junior high children, these high school children that have no idea of what's going on. They don't see the train wreck like we do. So they don't know. They're just doing what it shows on TikTok. It's popular. Just doing what everybody else does. Yes?
The reason that I asked Raquel Ship and Mr. Ship to partner in this is because 5 years ago, Leia and I talked about this. A kid at Grant High School was the second, third string quarterback. I thought he was a good kid who probably should be connected to Robert Family Development Center. So I was kind of trying to groom him to work with us. You know, I mean, as high school, I was inviting him to the workshops on Saturday, things like that. And he was always often busy. And somebody finally told me, Robert, you don't want to grab him. He out there doing stuff you don't want to know about. I said, no, I need to know about what's going on because that's kind of why I'm here. And it turns out that he was taking girls from Grant High School, the Grant High School, state campus. Grant High School could get confused that they do excellent work in some places, but other places things are lacking. He was taking the Stockton, not Stockton Boulevard, the city of Stockton, to trick them out on the corners. So once I found that out, and Leia was started doing this work, I immediately said, hey, we will fund whatever you're doing to have a Saturday where our staff and our friends and D2 could be here to hear about this, because this is serious, not in somebody else's neighborhood, but in our neighborhood. And that the kids at King and Grant on the weekend are making choices that are not healthy. And we may think we're doing preventive work, but we're not preventing nothing if we don't see what's really going on in our neighborhood. So the reason that Leah is speaking to you is not for her health, or Mr. and Mrs. Shipp's health, or my health, because I'm old, right? So y'all always say I'm old. I know you don't say it, I'm old. If you're on the front line doing the work, and you see the kids missing in action, not being in places, and telling you some googly-gop story, and you might want to pay attention to what she's saying, because what she's saying is true. 5 years ago, it slapped me in my face. 5 years ago, at Robert Family Wellness Center at Grant High School, it slapped me in the face. So I'm asking you all to pay attention to what she's saying. Don't become concerned about how she says it, because what she's saying is true. So I just need to say that as a caveat. I'll walk away, because they might think that I'm not here, or it's not important for Ms. Roberts to even know. Ms. Roberts has some other things to do as well, including going and check on Ms. Roberts, who just got back in Puerto Rico. So if I leave, that's what I'm doing. I ain't doing nothing else, because this is so important to me that I ask for Caleb and Robert. Adam Shipp. I always forget, I was calling Mr. Shipp because I forget his first name. All right. His wife, the Shipps, to join us and making sure that our community knows about this. And thank you to Pastor Larry, Pastor Riggins. I see y'all. I'm assuming that Pastor Hood's not here. He has representatives here. Hey, Pastor Hood, good to see you. I say that because I think it's important that we start seeing who and I. Please don't point at me. Because I don't speak to be on TV. I don't speak for the video camera. I speak because it's time for you all to step into the leadership roles. So this morning, to me, you have to grow up and recognize the work that we're doing is real serious work. It is not play work. And don't come to the schools playing, because our kids can no longer afford for you all to be playing. That's all.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yes, absolutely correct. And I want to just give you the visual over here. We have 6 photos over here on the wall, and once we're done here, you can walk over and see them a little closely. But this is Sacramento streets. These are taken by us during our outreach, and these are all minors. These female individuals you see in this photo are between the ages of 13 and 16. Real life photos, right here, Sacramento streets. One of them is pregnant. One has been killed since the picture was taken. In the green car you see there, that's an attorney, a criminal attorney that works for the state. So this is real life. This is not something that we just made up just for the impact of it. This is real life. And these women out here have real lives. And they're being harmed and they're being forced to do things that nobody should ever be forced into. These are all beautiful souls that want to be able to live normal lives. And they're caught up. Prevention is necessary. Prevention is important. We hear prevention and we understand it from an angle of medical. We go get a physical every year, right? What do they say? Preventative care. You go get your teeth cleaned, they say preventative care. This is preventative. We don't want you to get cavities, so we're going to have you come in and get a cleaning. We don't want you to get sick, so you're going to come in, preventative care. We're going to have you do a physical to make sure there's nothing there. This is preventative care. This is what everybody needs to know, because all of us collectively have a role in this. See something, say something. You're driving down the street, you see a child walking down the street, it's 11 o'clock on a Tuesday, you should wonder why that child's not in school. It's not to save the world, but it's being observant. Because maybe you can save that child's life. That's why prevention is so important. You guys came in and there was a self-reflection questionnaire that you saw. All of you should have that. This is something that I think is important, because in talking to the youth, a lot of times they think, and even grown folks, we do it too, they think, oh, this could never be me. There's no way. Oh, he couldn't tell me that. I just would tell him no. I would never do any of this. Well, sometimes decisions that we've made in our lifetime, sometimes the way we've behaved in our lifetime makes us perfect victims for something like this. So what that self-reflection form is, it's for you. It's not something you'll turn in to me. There's some questions on there, and that's just to reflect back on your behavior. Reflect back on common decision that you have made in your lifetime. Could this happen to me? Is there anything about what you're talking about today that would have applied to me at some point? It's a great tool to be able to use to kind of reflect back on decisions that you too have made. So I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes just to kind of go over that. Again, it's nothing you'll share with me. You can take it with you. It's nothing that you'll turn into me. It's for you to reflect on you. And that's important.